light, my demons watching me. Playing spades with tarot cards, moon and stars like astrology. Reincarnated, so peep the style, homie. Been royal millions of years, they kept the crown from me. Started off in the root chakra, primordial waters. Like walking blindfolded, everything was dark. Saw the wickedness in the world and all the cold.
Peace, 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 family. How's everybody doing? I hope that you all are having a wonderful day so far. I just wanted to come on here to talk about the Capricorn New Moon coming up on January 2nd. So, hi everybody. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of A Way of Life. I am a career and business coach using astrology. And, before we jump into it and get started, if you could please like, share, and subscribe if you find this information helpful. We appreciate your support in advance. But I think more importantly, I like this moon because I feel like for some reason that we'll have the real chance of, you know how like people make New Year's resolutions and oftentimes don't, follow through for whatever reason. I feel like this time around people actually will follow through because of, or not. I know some people might be like, what? Well, that's not typically what people say when we're talking about retrogrades. But, and obviously it's always going to be different for other people. But if you've been listening to me for a while now, I've mentioned that Capricorn actually does very well in a retrograde because of the movement, the speed of the energy. Capricorn is a very slow, methodical energy. And with Venus, first and foremost, Venus and Capricorn are like besties, right? They do great things together. Actually, in the mythology of the Venus morning star, what I didn't talk about was the connection to Capricorn and Venus. Now, if you understand anything about the mythology in general, they show up in different shapes and forms, right? They're called archetypes, right? And so Venus has very many different shapes and forms. I did talk about Venus from the ego perspective, right? Where it shows up as the sun, right? Where it can be very egoic, right? Lucifer can be known as a very ego-driven person, right? We know the stories of Lucifer, right? But also Capricorn is considered the underground, like Pluto energy. And so in that sense, Venus and Capricorn are like, these are like the two twins, skipping down the street holding hands type thing. And so you have that correlation going on there. And then you have the slowness, Venus. The power of what Capricorn brings, which is all about setting goals, getting organized, and, mastering something. That's what Capricorn really wants us to do. Anytime Capricorn shows up in any area of your life, you're learning essentially how to master something. Now, obviously, some of these transits are so short, you can't master something in a short amount of time, but what they do over time is give you bits and pieces to a more fuller story, which is why whenever I'm talking about astrology, I'm like, you want to make sure you go back to such and such date because this is going to connect to an idea that came up or started at that time, right? And so it's just understanding time, and that is what Capricorn rules. And I'll get into a little bit more about that as we get down here, but essentially what we're talking about when we're talking about Capricorn is your legacy, building a legacy. And that obviously comes with time through your skills, your mastery, your purpose, and your mission in this lifetime. So I don't know. I just really feel hopeful, more hopeful with this energy for some reason. And thought like, wow, this could be way better than maybe we remembered it in previous years when it comes to doing our resolutions, because this energy is so grounded and people are just fed up and tired with everything that's been going on and ready for real, honest change. Even if we know deep down inside we're not going to get it tomorrow, it's what we're doing now is for years to come. So I went on a whole bit of rant there, but I had to get that out because I thought it was really cool. So Capricorn New Moon happens on the 2nd of January. This is great for setting goals and achieving it. Here you can set a new intention, right? Anytime we have a new moon, we're setting a new intention. Capricorn always comes with some seriousness and focus. So Capricorn is about being productive, industrious, what you're ready to take forward. It's also what you can commit to and what you have time and energy for. I'm feeling that strongly in the age of Aquarius, especially with this nodal axis. That Plutonian energy is very energetic. And I feel like it's going to pull even more on our energetic strings in a way to, again, more people quitting their job to do things that are more work smarter, not harder type energy. I really, really feel that coming through a lot stronger over the next 18 months. But what you have time for, what you don't have time for, where you are already overdoing it. You know, Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, is going to show you where the cracks in your foundation are. And so that could be a little tough and hard to deal with. But just if you can remember in the back of your mind that essentially these things are coming up not to show you or to tell you that you're bad or you're not doing something well or anything of that nature, but that there's probably a little bit more you could be doing, or that you can be doing something in a very different way, right? For better results, right? So what you can handle, how far you've come, where you're going. As a way to like sit back and reflect for New Year's. I think this is really, really going to help people sit back and be like, damn, you know, what have I been through over the last few years? What have I accomplished? And where do I want to go with all of this? And more importantly, with what you have learned, how do you want to continue to build on that, with that? Where are you going with that? This is going to be amazing time to be asking yourself those questions, sitting down, reflecting on those questions with that Venus retrograde energy. So that you can write down your to-do list, your new goals and resolutions. Capricorn will give you endurance, strength, and fortitude towards those things. And even though if you've been listening to the weekly astrology, if you are out there partying and stuff like that, and you might not want to do that just quite yet as the year begins, just so that everybody knows you got 2 weeks of this energy. So essentially, I feel like for, what did I say? I believe the first 15 hours after New Year's, people are just not going to have energy because the moon is going to be void, of course. And so It's really not time to be doing a lot of these things the first few days. So be gentle with yourself. If you're like, he said, and I'm not, don't worry. Another thing to keep in mind, at least from my knowledge and understanding, whenever you have a new moon or a full moon, you're not supposed to do intentions on the day of, because you can't see it. The energy is unseen at that time because it's at its most potent. And so you kind of want to wait till the moon goes down. And so it's not until 48 days after any new or full moon, or any energy for that matter, as far as I'm concerned, before you can start manifesting with that energy. And when I say manifesting, I mean taking actual action steps. It's always good to be thinking, reflecting, and doing the small things that you can do in relation to planning. But as far as taking action on them and actually starting to put those things into motion and taking action steps, it's not the best time to do it on the day of, because you really can't see, theoretically speaking, of course, because of the light from the energy is too strong. So you're supposed to wait 48 hours after. So Saturn has moved away from the square to Uranus, giving you time to work on this area of your life. Now, I thought this was great because, again, if you are listening to my weeklies and any other videos that I do around the transits, that Saturn-Uranus square has been plaguing everybody's life this entire year. And this is the old versus the new, government against the people, you know, all those things there that I'm over. I'm so over it at this point. But all those themes now, this is the finalization for it. So I'm not saying that things are going to get easy, but I am saying and thinking that we're going to start to be more solution focused as opposed to being fixated on that very intense energy, because it's over, and because I really feel like people are tired of that stagnant energy of not moving and not doing something about it. So Saturn in Aquarius is self-knowingness, understanding your gifts, your talents, your abilities, or the things that you're not good at or that you don't want. Saturn wants real results. So something new you have been approaching or doing for a while now could come to fruition, or that you will get just the ability to get something out of it, stick with it, and start working towards it, you know. Something new you have been approaching or doing for a while now. Yeah, but there's a seriousness and maturity that's required before you can achieve it. I do have to say that. Although I do think it's still best not to get caught up in whether it looks perfect or, you know, any of those lower vibrations of Saturn and Capricorn. Even Aquarius, to an extent, can have these types of hang-ups, hiccups, if you will, because its natural ancient ruling planet is Saturn. But if you're speaking of it from a Uranus perspective, then you're going to be more free think. Just do it. Okay? Tap into the Uranus energy and just start somewhere. Figure out the particulars after you get started. But you should undoubtedly already have a plan for this. There's no doubt in my mind that people aren't just starting stuff with everything that's going on. These are things that we've been pondering, we've been sitting on. But again, for one reason or another, stagnation, blockages, governmental things getting in the damn way with those restrictions. And I mean, I can go on and on and on, but I know that I don't have to with you guys. You already know. All those things are now being released. And so this way you can actually start moving towards those things without the blockages. Yeah, but there is some part of you that would have to have had matured in some way, shape, or form. So Mars in Sagittarius is sextile the new moon, which will activate the solar eclipse in Sagittarius we had in the beginning of December. When Mars gets to that point again, it brings up that energy, so we get to re-examine that. And this is inspiring. It wants you to be inspired towards achieving your goals. This is really all about what you believe, you know, how you think about yourself and your goals, and faith, you know, having faith that things are going to work out, being very optimistic that things are going to work out and opportunities are going to come in, and you'll have the energy, Mars, motivation, Mars, to move towards those things. You're going to believe it's possible. You believe you can do this. You're inspired to see even if you don't see, going back to that faith piece. I really felt like this is, even just having this energy around this time for people who are celebrating, I thought was just going to be absolutely amazing for people. All right, and then Mercury will have just entered Aquarius at this new moon. It'll be in shadow phase as it will retrograde. I think it's like the 18th or the 19th. I'll be talking more about that in depth too, but it will communicate with Venus in retrograde. So there's a reconsidering, reworking, revaluing that's going to shift again. Like you'll get more pieces to the puzzle here. And when we're talking about Aquarius, well, I feel like, again, more freedom, more finding your soul tribe, just being more social in general about topics that, you know, need to be had, you know. These are very revolutionary conversations. I do see some things can come up with what I talked about, back in 2020 with like companies, not companies, social media platforms. What's the word I'm looking for? Social media platforms like not one sensitizing people for talking about woke conversations. That's what we'll call it. I do see that being a thing. And so I do feel like at that time people are going to have to mobilize perhaps off of these social media platforms. So if you have something like Patreon, I want to say, what the heck is the name of that platform? Damn. I named them, though. I mean, you can go back on my social media page. I put them all up there. There are quite a few that aren't owned by, you know, these people in power. And what you want to do is have those conversations there. You know, the problem with that is that I think we're going to see on a pretty big scale, that's going to be what adds more pieces to the puzzle for everybody to rethink, reconsider, rework, revalue. That I see is a really big, I don't want to say it's a problem, but I do feel like that we don't see it for what it is. And I think this is because we don't have knowledge of what economics is and the importance of paying black businesses. Although, I mean, you hear a lot of people talking about it. I mean, also the other issue is that, you know, especially if you're not working anymore, funds are low. So there's this thing here. But the problem, I think, where we're going to see is that these other platforms you have to pay for. They're subscriptions. You have to pay. You have to pay for a lot of these other platforms in order to have these intelligent, revolutionized conversations. And, a lot of people aren't in the best situations financially. And so we're not going to perhaps get the support that maybe we feel like we should, because people really can't afford it. And so this is where I think bartering is going to come back. So you really want to go back to my Jupiter and Aquarius video as we're wrapping up that cycle. And Jupiter is about to move into Pisces, which is perfect because Pisces is all about giving and having compassion for humanity. So, a lot of services, unfortunately, may have to sacrifice being paid or getting money in order to spread the information to the masses, to the people out there who really want to change, but perhaps just don't have the money. And I really see that being a problem for a lot of us if we are not vigilant, mindful, open-minded, considerate of these types of things. I do think that we will figure it out. I think that we'll get through it. And, it'll be great. But until then, there can be tiffs and flips and shit. Yeah, no. But Venus is retrograde until the 29th, and it was conjunct Pluto on Christmas Day. I talked about that in my weekly. And it will conjunct again on the 3rd of March. I believe it'll do it even one time more before the 3rd of March and again at the end of the year. But this is around banking. This is going to bring up issues around banking, economy, financing, new financial systems, because Uranus is in Taurus, is also birthing new avenues that are decentralized. I can't stress this enough. Study decentralized. Go look up what decentralized means. It's imperative to our growth in this time. Otherwise, if you're asking yourself at New Year's whether you want to take the red pill or the blue pill, and you find yourself going more on the side of the blue, what you're going to find, if you don't find a way to be more creative, or if you don't open up to a way of being more creative when it comes to making money, you are not going to be in the blue. You are going to have to rely on the system, that old system, which is going to turn digital. And I don't think it's really a bad thing. It depends on how you look at it. The thing is that in the digital realm, what they're going to do is control everything that you do, right? They want to take control over you so that you don't own rights to anything. You're just kind of existing, if you will. And you won't have any control over that. You won't be able to grow or evolve either, You'll just be, you'll have access to a lot of things, but you will not be free to evolve, to change, to be better, to do better, to think better, and I can go into a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll be going into a whole bunch of other stuff as we talk about this Taurus North Node energy, but for certainly, you need money in this world to live. And if you don't have it and you call yourself going off the grid, without the skills and knowledge, without a team of people, you're just not going to make it. You're ultimately going to end up it's going to be like 1 foot in the red pill and 1 foot in the blue pill. And so we still got a lot of building to do. And in that regard, I think, and a lot of work to do towards that, building stronger economic bonds, understanding stronger economic bonds, and how you fit into that and what you're willing to do. Capricorn and Venus, value. What are you willing to commit to? So I feel like that's the second piece to this energy that we're going to get. And the energy shift is going to change mid-January. We'll start to feel this a lot more. And even though we'll be wrapping up that cycle of Venus and Capricorn, we're going to complete that Mercury one shortly thereafter. So, something to keep in mind. But even more importantly, we're in the energy of Pluto return, meaning in any time from now until when Pluto becomes exact, we'll experience some economic turbulence for sure, unfortunately. And Venus and Pluto can also make us feel intense emotions, especially around past relationships. Someone from the past can come back. It can be intense emotions about a new relationship also. Just be mindful, new stuff during a retrograde. Take things slow, Don't make any firm final decisions until after the March 3rd. Okay, so we get to readdress the pandemic and how that's all going to play out. So with this Pluto energy, unfortunately, I do feel like we're going to end up like Europe. Now, I don't know what conclusions Europe has come to, or even how long they've been experiencing it. I want to say pretty much since the pandemic, but I feel like it also started a lot more this year than it was last year of an issue. So I don't know. But anybody who follows anything going on with Europe, you know that what they've done is stopped people who have not or refused to take the shot from getting services. So just going back to what I was saying about social media, but with everything in your entire world. You don't have access to the entire world anymore. They're going to put you on lockdown specifically. Not everybody, just the people who are not willing to conform. And that could be tough. But I don't see the civil war, the police state, unless people decide to fight back. And obviously it could be a thing. I don't see Mars here, although Pluto should be enough. But I just don't see it. We've been having a silent war for quite some time now. And I just think that they're just going to lock us down. And that will go on for some time. But again, ultimately, it's going to be up to us to learn how to live without those things, But, Pluto is also trine with the North Node in Taurus. And that's where we're learning around our Taurus area of life. So this is about self-worth, self-sustained, self-reliance, the ability to stand strong in who you are and what you want, especially when it comes to finances, money, and investments. How am I going to build what's valuable to me? So everything that I was just saying. And then Taurus is ruled by Venus, so no mistake that Venus is going through a deep transformation at this time, meaning there can be more changes because the eclipse is going to be showing you new things that matter, which I really like because I feel like what Taurus is going to teach us is back to our roots, kind of like survival skills, right? How to make your own food, how to hunt, how to protect yourself, how to. This is about issues. This can also be around issues of betrayal. This can be individual. This can be around individuals or globally. The signs that are going to feel this the most are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Or this can be depending on what areas of life your Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn can be very intense at this time. Overall, this is just a reminder that we have to come back to our inner authority. And over time, things change with time. Things alleviate with time. Plans, goals, and things come with time. And I feel like, in a sense, that could be super frustrating to hear. But I've been telling people, if you've been following me for a long time, like, you already know, Capricorn is like fine wine. It's what grows well over time, and no doubt, whatever Capricorn touches, it's hard work. At the end of the day, we are not getting a pass for this one, family. You know, we're going to have to suck it up, you know, that we've gotten so accustomed to our easy access. You know, I've even started doing my laundry in my tub. No bullshit. I damn near broke my fucking back. Okay? Lesson learned. Those towels were a bitch. But what I learned in that process is, if I don't want to wash all those clothes like that at once, and I still want to do it in the tub, I'm only using one towel. I'm trying to be mindful of, you know, how much laundry I use. And I know you guys are probably like, Keisha, what the hell are you doing? What are you thinking? Why are you doing? I just intuitively, it's not even something that I can explain. It's in my gut, family, in my heart, something that I feel like we are all going to want to be pulled to gravitate towards over these next 18 months on a level that I don't even think as an astrologer I can explain. It's just going to come up and you're going to be like, oh, this must have been what Keish was talking about, because whether it comes by way of, you know, you're just going through hard times and you have to do it anyways, or again, it's something that's happening deep down that I just, you know, I don't know. I really don't know, but I just feel strongly like I might need to learn this tool, you know? So I might as well get started now. And I'm sorry, I feel like I'm not even nearly touching how strong this is and how many different ways this is going to come up. But the word that comes to mind is poverty, you know? A very poverty-stricken life, but not like how you may be thinking of poverty. I don't mean like that from a negative perspective, but just living under your means. That's a better way to say it. People are going to learn how to live under their means, and ultimately have to learn some other new skills and developments to, you know, live in outside of the governmental structures and systems. So yeah, going back to my point of time, another thing that's happening on a more ethereal level, I don't know if anybody's seen Spider-Man, the multiverse. I couldn't help but think while I was watching that movie how, going back to my instincts, that we can even have some kind of unconscious connections to other timelines, past lives even, just giving us knowledge from the ancient ones, from the divine, showing us how to get through this time to the people who are open, who are conscious and alert, because it's going to be so deeply needed on a level that I just don't think that we can foresee right about now. I really, really don't. And I'm not trying to fearmonger again, family. You know, I try to always be conscious of the words that I use. But it's just time. You know, it's time to do for self, you know, if we really want success, like real, true success. And again, not everybody is up for this. Like, some people are going to be completely okay with living in the smart cities where you have chips in you that you can be, I mean, you can walk by somebody and everybody can see your whole life. You know, privacy gone, you know, all of it gone. I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Idiocracy. I think I'm saying that right. I just had a really good friend who put me on to this movie. I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is what these smart cities are reflecting on. But it's, oh, you guys, you got to go watch that movie. But yeah, so I think in that way, when I'm referring to time, it's not that we just don't think about it the way that, like, it's not a Spider-Man movie, you know, it's an actual real thing, but we break it down in other ways, so because it's easier to understand and accept that way. But as we grow into these more divine beings and having more connections to the divine, I can almost guarantee that portals and things of these natures will be very, very, very real. How it happens, it's so hard to explain. I just go watch Spider-Man Multiverse. Watch that movie and just, you know, let that take you where it will when you understand what time travel is and all those other things. But last but not least, the sun will trine Uranus on the 1st of January. So again, we're waking up to a bigger truth of the galaxy and the cosmos, especially around work, money, and career. And so when I feel like when I say that, I kind of diminish exactly what I'm trying to say about time travel, because I don't think people really understand that from a mundane perspective, time travel is happening. But just because we don't understand it a specific way doesn't mean that it's not. But this time around, I just feel like people are going to be more alert to the fact that it is a thing, because we're going to be more connected to the galaxies and the cosmos. So I feel like I outdone myself with that one. I completely confused people. It's not an easy thing to explain, but I hope that you found this information helpful, family. As always, I love and appreciate